What's up everyone, China Cycling here. Today we're looking at this, what you're seeing this shot on, the brand new X4 from Insta360. Now this thing is back with a bang. This thing is packing a punch. Now we have 8K resolution, so 8K all the way up to 30 frames per second. And if you want 60 frames a second, you can now do 60 frames per second in 5.7K. The bigger sensor is a huge upgrade, something I've been asking for from the X series for a long time now. And yeah, it really helped. As well as that bigger sensor, we've now got the ability to overlay Garmin stats like you can see here. That's pretty cool for cyclists, obviously. Another cool feature, battery life has gone up a whopping 67%. So if you were one of the guys before trying to record your whole crit and running out of power, now it's got your back. So a whole bunch of really cool features for cyclists. So let's hop into the review and see what we think. What's up everyone, China Cycling here. This here is the brand new Insta360 X4. I'm definitely have to need my notes because there's a lot to get through on this one. So yeah, let's check it out. So as you saw from the intro, this thing is capable of getting some sick footage. I think I've done a review on all of the X cameras at this point, the X1, 2, 3, and now the 4. And yeah, these things just keep getting better and better. I think for cyclists, a 360 camera is one of the best cameras you can have just because it gives you so many options of what you can shoot. You can shoot yourself, like if you're a YouTuber or if you make some content like that. This is the best way to shoot yourself on the bike. But also you can use it as like an action camera and put it in single lens mode, and then just use it like a traditional GoPro style camera as well. So like one camera that can do it all, a 2-in-1 camera if you will. And yeah, this is the latest and greatest. So let's see what's new. So as I said, the biggest change is now the 8K resolution. Resolution on these things really matters. Now you might think, oh, 8K, that's too much. I only have a 4K TV or whatever, but 8K is for the full 360 degrees. And then basically you're cropping into about 180 degrees to 90 degrees of that. So basically whatever resolution you start off with in the beginning, you're gonna half it. So now it's 8K, it means once you export it, if it's a 180 degree field of view, it's gonna be like a 4K resolution. So that's good because that's what we view most things in these days, 4K. It's what I'm filming this in. So yeah, it's good that the resolution's popped up. Before it was 5.7K, which meant after you cropped in, you were down to like less than 2K, getting pretty low, especially if you started to zoom in, the image would fall apart a bit. So yeah, it's great to see 8K now. Now 5.7K and 8K might not sound like a huge difference, but it's actually like 78% more pixels. So you're getting a huge, almost 80% jump in resolution. And that really shows up when you start zooming in or when you start looking at it on a high resolution display. So yeah, 8K is really cool. 8K can do 30 frames a second, but I like to shoot everything on 24 frames a second, so that's what I usually use. If you like high frame rates, 60 frames a second, either for that super smooth look or to slow it down in post, this can now do 5.7K at 60 frames a second. So on the old one, it did 5.7K at 30 frames a second. We've now doubled that to 60 frames a second. So either for slow motion or just super smooth video, yeah, now you have that option. Obviously, the main feature of these 360 cameras is the reframing. So you just put it on your bike or put it wherever and press record, and then you deal with the framing and the composition later. The cool thing about that is obviously sometimes you don't know where the action is going to be, especially if in a race. You know, put this under your Garmin or whatever. Something happens to your left, you can capture it later. Something happens to your right, capture it later. You want to get yourself in the sprint, you can do that, all that stuff. So that's really cool. Second advantage is that these days, you know, some stuff's going on social media in portrait mode, some stuff's going somewhere else in landscape mode. Instead of having to shoot everything twice, you just shoot once and then later you can crop it or export it twice as well. So that's a cool option. Obviously that sounds a bit laborious doing stuff afterwards, but now with the improved app, they've got a new suite of tools, some AI powered editing stuff that they had before on the Ace Pro. That's kind of carried over now, so that's making editing a lot easier. If you're a phone app guy, you can really mash through and edit really fast. Me, I'm a bit old school. I like to use my computer and do it slowly. The studio app on the computer is getting better and better too, more and more powerful, so that's cool to see as well. Another cool thing that's been on the Insta360 cameras since the beginning is the invisible selfie stick. Basically, if you put it on a selfie stick, either that selfie stick's on your bike or in your hand, basically the selfie stick is invisible when you look at the footage later. So you can get these really cool shots, these really cool videos, photos of you riding, and it looks like there's a drone following you, or it looks like there's someone following with a camera, where in fact it's actually attached to your own bike. So that's really cool. Another new feature for the X4 is the Garmin Overlays, or the Apple Overlays. So if you have an Apple Watch or if you have a Garmin device, after you do your shooting, you can put the data over the video in in the app. So at the moment, it's only supported in the phone app, but yeah, basically you connect your Garmin account to your Insta360 account, and then it knows which activity you're doing when you filmed. It can pull in the data, and that is like that. So yeah, super convenient stuff, just one click to set it up, and then all the data goes in there as well. But really cool, especially for roadies, you know, we want to show off what speeds we're hitting in the sprints and stuff like that. So being able to put that stuff on screen super simply, seamlessly is a cool feature too. Another new feature for the X4, the battery's got bigger. Now we've got 67% more battery life. That's really cool. Obviously before, if you're trying to film your whole crit or whatever, and if the battery ran out at 45 minutes, then usually a crit lasts for an hour, so you were just short of that crit distance. So now we've got 67% more power. The battery now lasts more than an hour, so should be fine for all of your crits. I have a massive 128 gig memory card inside mine, and like it will fill up the memory card before it runs out of batteries. So yeah, maybe you need to get yourself a 256 gig memory card if you can do a full crit or whatever, but no, super cool battery life. Obviously with a bigger battery, the unit's got a bit heavier and a bit fatter than before. It's not crazy, but it is something to note, like especially if you're a roadie, especially if you're a weight weenie. One thing about the extra weight, so before they used the third person mount which clipped onto your handlebars, you can no longer use that with the X4 because the X4 is a bit heavier and it's not quite safe. But they have a new mount, they have their stem cap mount, which I'll show you in a minute, so that solves that problem too. Another new feature in all of my reviews of the X2, X3 before, I've said one negative about these 360 cameras is just how vulnerable the lenses are. Before they had like some sticky lens cover, filter, protector things that you could stick on there, but once they were on, they were hard to get off, and then yeah, it just wasn't a very elegant solution. Now they have this like bayonet system where you can put lens protectors on there. It actually comes with lens protectors in the box, so that's good peace of mind. You can put those on. They're easy to take off, easy to swap out if the lens protector gets scratched, and just look after your lens. They come with basic ones in the box, but you can get more premium ones which cut out more glare and stuff like that. Cool feature because like I've always said, the one negative about these things is how exposed the lenses are. So now that you can protect them, that is super, super cool. Another cool feature, which I'll show you now, is the gesture controls. So obviously if the unit is in front of you on the mount, or it is next to you and you're riding your bike and you can't reach it, one cool thing now is you just hold up your palm and it starts recording. So you can see it started recording now. And because it's a 360 camera, you don't get in front of it or anything. You literally look at it, put your palm up, it'll see it and stop recording. So that is super, super cool, because obviously if you've got the mount somewhere to the side, you don't want to be reaching over to try hit record or anything. It does have voice control as well. I can say start recording and it will start recording. I think the old ones had that as well though, so that's not a new thing. But yeah, the gesture control is really cool because yeah, you can keep talk. Doesn't matter about any wind noise and stuff like that. So you show it a palm to start and stop recording, or you do the peace sign and it'll take a photo. Super cool, super easy, super intuitive. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Another headline feature is the waterproofing. So 10 meters waterproof. Obviously as roadies, we're not going in the water too much, but it is nice to know if it's got 10 meters of waterproofing, it'll be able to handle any rainstorm, or you know, you can even wash your bike with it on your bike, whatever. So that's a cool feature. And yeah, like I said, the other main feature this time around is just the AI tools that have now been added to the app. But yeah, for me personally, the big thing to write home about is just the image quality. Like I'm a cinema nerd, I'm a camera nerd. I like my image quality as good and as high as it can be. And so yeah, the bump from 5.7K to 8K for me is totally worth it. In my last review of the X3, that was the one thing I said. I said I wish it had 8K. 5.7K is good, like you guys are watching it, but 8K or so would have been great to really zoom in and reframe shots and keep them looking crisp. And so now we finally have 8K, so yeah, you get what you wish for, that's cool. I'm not gonna do a whole bunch of side-by-sides and let you guys pixel peep and see the differences. If you do wanna see that stuff, I'm sure there's a bunch of the camera nerds, Potato Jet or whatever, I'm sure they've done videos too to show you that stuff. But yeah, you guys look at the footage I've got with it and decide for yourself. If you have one of the old ones, is it worth upgrading? You guys look, you guys tell me. But if you don't have one of the old ones, it's a no-brainer, jump right in. Let's talk about the modes then. So there are a whole bunch of modes in here, different photo modes, video modes, all that stuff. I won't go into them all because this video will be forever, but I'll just go into the ones that matter to cyclists. So first of all, you've got your 360 video mode, you know, you film and then you reframe later. As I said in the beginning, 8K at up to 30 frames a second, or 5.7K at up to 60 frames a second. I'll put in a clip now of the 5.7, 60 frames a second slowed down to normal speed, so you can kind of see the slow motion you can get.
or you can just play it silky smooth. I can't show you it silky smooth in this video because this video is 24 frames per second, and putting a 60 frames per second clip in a 24 frames per second video, it will just look the same. But if you are a 60 frames per second guy, you've got that there too. Another mode is if you switch it into single lens mode. So, you know, if you've got it on a chest mount, or if you just want it, you're not worried about 360, you just want one angle, they've got you back too. So now you've got single lens mode up to 4K 60 frames a second. That's crazy, like 4K 60 frames a second. Lots of dedicated action cameras can only just do that. So to get this out of a 360 camera is super cool. They also have the free frame mode in single lens mode, which is good if you're not sure if you're going to be using portrait or landscape, because again, you can shoot with just one lens, but then reframe it later. Other features that might be useful for cyclists is like the pre-record mode. So once it's on, it's always recording, but it's not saving it to the SD card. If something happens, you turn it to record and it will start recording from 30 seconds before. So that's useful because obviously on a ride, sometimes there's like 10, 20, 30 minutes of nothing, and then something happens. To save your SD card and to save your time in the edit later, you can just use the pre-record function to just record the interesting bits. So that's a cool feature. Another mode is the photo mode. So again, you know, it can do video, it can do photo, depending on what you need. You want something for Instagram or you want something for the thumbnail. Yeah, you can tell it to take a photo or just use the photo mode or burst photo mode to get some 360 photos. And again, after the fact, you can reframe, choose the composition, choose the field of view, all that stuff. As I alluded to earlier, so now you can't officially use the third person mount. So now they've got the new stem top cap mount. I'll put some footage in as I'm talking about it, but basically, if you've got a traditional round stem cap, you can replace it with their stem cap top mount. Obviously, a limitation for this is some integrated handlebars don't have that shape of top cap, but those integrated handlebars, you couldn't use the third person mount anyway. So as with everything, it's horses for courses, but if you've got a traditional bar and stem combo, then you've probably got a traditional round stem cap and you can use the stem cap mount. It's really cool because not only can you adjust it up and down, you can also adjust it left and right, and then on it, you can either mount the camera itself directly or you can mount the Insta360 smaller selfie stick. So Insta360 have a wide range of selfie sticks at this point, but the smallest, lightest one I found is best because, as it says in the instructions, you're not supposed to extend it further than the front wheel of the bike. So let's say you're not allowed to extend it more than like 40, 50 centimeters anyway, so you don't need that much of a long selfie stick. If you do extend it all the way out, there's going to be way too much torque on it, and like your stem cap bolt wasn't designed to take that. Maybe your expander plug will pop out or whatever. So yeah, do follow the instructions and do what it says. I was a bit of a naughty boy. I extended out too far a few times, but I made sure the road was super smooth and I knew what I was doing. But yeah, a cool accessory. If you are picking up one of these for cycling and you do have a traditional bar and stem, I do recommend the stem cap mount. Another feature definitely worth talking about for cyclists is the Garmin mount overlay stuff. So apparently it also works with Apple Watches if you're doing activities on the Apple Watch. I don't have an Apple Watch, I'm a Garmin guy, so I can only show the Garmin stuff. But yeah, once you link your Garmin account with your Insta360 account, it's super clever. It knows the date and the time of the activity, and it knows the date and the time of the video file. And basically it will look, at the time that video was taken, were you doing an activity? If you were, it can pull in the activity data, and then you can overlay your speed, your gradient, the map, all that cool stuff on screen. So super seamless. I think this is one thing that Insta360 does really well. Like, they take stuff that should be really complicated and make it really simple, especially on the mobile app. And again, that's really cool because if you're a casual user, you can just do stuff casually on the mobile app. But if you are a bit of a hardcore power user like me and you like to do everything frame by frame, then you can still do stuff on the computer. At the moment though, the Garmin overlay stuff is only on the mobile app, but obviously if you are using the computer, there are other ways to do it with the Garmin Verb app or some of the other third-party tools. So cool that you have the choice. As I said in the intro, I think the AI gesture is a cool thing for cyclists as well, just because, again, you might have, like, even if you've got this on the back of your friend's saddle in front of you and you're following behind, you can literally start and stop it recording by waving at your friend's arse. So yeah, super cool feature for sure. Another option to control the device is also the GPS remote they have. So again, you wear it like a watch and then you can control the device. It also connects to the Ace Pro. I tested it with that, and yeah, it works with the X4 now as well. So yeah, if you don't want to be doing gestures, or you don't want to be talking to it, or you don't want to be pressing the button, you can use the GPS remote mount as well. So cool that they give you all these options, and you can just choose the one that works best for you. But yeah, with this thing, I think the app is the make or break part of it, because yeah, like, you know, the videos are 360, you can't just use them as they are, you have to edit them. But the app is getting better and better, and this latest version of the app is no exception. So again, I just love that they give you the choice. You can do stuff like super simple, as few clicks as possible to do like an AI edit, or you can really go into it and add keyframes and reframe stuff and do it all step by step. So that's something Insta360 have always done. They've always acknowledged that like they have their people who just want to make a quick video and throw it on social media, but then they also have like the hardcore users as well. And so it's cool that they always give you the options for that. But now with the latest version, yeah, it's taken that to the next level. So the quick edit feature is really cool. You just throw in your clips, tell it to quick edit, and it'll just quickly let you slice it together. But then again, the AI edit feature is similar too, but it actually is analyzing what's going on in the video and choosing what it thinks is interesting. So that's really cool. I did some messing around with it, and yeah, it was really good, because like we said before, lots of road racing is like pretty boring, but then when something does happen, it's good to just pick out those cool bits. So I think it's working on the sound and the visuals and stuff, so I don't know how it does it, but it's doing a pretty good job in the experiments I've done. I'll show you in a minute an AI edit of some stuff before, and yeah, that's really cool. Another new feature on both the app and on the desktop version is the motion ND. So basically this is a way of adding motion blur to the footage. Now, I used to do this before, and I still sometimes do it now with Adobe After Effects. But with Adobe After Effects, it is super, super slow. To give you an idea, like my MacBook's pretty powerful, but to add motion blur in After Effects to like 1 minute of video takes like 5 or 6 minutes for the computer to process. Whereas the motion ND stuff, it's in the app, you just turn it on, it doesn't take any extra time to process, your videos still get spit out in no time at all. So if you're a real pixel peeper, I don't think it looks quite as good as the After Effects motion blur, but for how quickly it's doing it and how seamless it is, most people won't be able to tell the difference. And yeah, the motion blur makes everything look a lot nicer. All action cameras, I don't care whether it's a GoPro or an Ace or an X3 or whatever, they all over sharpen, they always look too sharp. So to add some motion blur to take off that sharpness in the edges, I find always does the trick. So yeah, it's really cool. One button, motion ND, add the motion blur, and yeah, you're good to go. If you've been watching the Insta360 videos on this channel for the past 3 years, 4 years now, whatever, you'll have seen I was a paying customer way back in the day, but now I am Insta360 supported, and that's just because I believe in them and I believe in their products. Like, I also have been helping them test their products. I've had this for, I don't know if I'm allowed to say how long I've had this for, but yeah, I've had lots of versions of this and helping them develop it, especially giving them advice for cyclists. They're super cool to work with. They really care about what the product is for the customer. But yeah, full disclosure, I am a sponsored 360 ambassador or whatever, so take everything I say with a grain of salt. But no, thanks to Insta360 for supporting me, and I'll continue to support them. So I do think I am just scratching the surface here of like the highlights of the new version. The things it can do, there's a whole bunch more. There's like modes for doing star lapses and stuff. Like, there's so much stuff this can do. I'm literally just scratching the surface. But I think for cyclists, most of the key stuff I've pointed out for you. You guys let me know what you think in the comments down below. I think this unit's going to retail for $499 US. I think that's crazy good value just because what you're getting, like I say, you're getting basically 2 cameras in one. It can be a 360 camera or it can be an action camera. And you can shoot so much stuff on these days. It really is getting crazy. You know, as phone cameras get better and better, they're starting to like replace DSLRs and stuff. But at the moment, a phone can never replace a 360 camera just because phones can't shoot 360s. So I do think if you can only have one extra camera as a cyclist, go for a 360 camera. Like a 360 camera and then your phone camera, you can shoot pretty much anything you want to shoot. And also with the phone, you can edit the stuff as well. So yeah, super cool. But yeah, my final thoughts. Yeah, I do think 8K was needed. Like I say, I talked about it in my X3 video. So now that that's here, like there's very little for me to complain about. For cyclists now, I do think this is the ultimate camera to get. If I'm nitpicking, obviously the extra weight is not great. Like, it's a bit heavier than the old one. But if you want that extra battery, there's no way around it. Like, you can only get more battery life with a bigger battery, and a bigger battery is going to weigh more. So, you know, no one wants to be changing batteries in the middle of the race, unless you're Tyler, the vegan cyclist with a GoPro in your mouth or whatever. But yeah, most people, they don't want to be changing batteries in the middle of a race. So I think while the extra weight is less than ideal, it's worth it for the extra battery life. At this point, I can't even imagine what they're going to do with the X5. Like, what more do you need? But hey, I'm sure in a couple of years' time, I'll be doing a video on it, and I don't know, or 12K, VR, something. We'll see, who knows. But yeah, I think that's me presenting the facts to you, showing you what it can do. If you are interested, there is a link in the description down below. It is an affiliate link, so if you buy it, I get a kickback. But literally, you guys make up your own mind. If you like what you see, buy it. If you don't, hey, let me know in the comments down below. There's never a pushy sales thing here. Again, a big thanks to Insta360 for always supporting the channel. They've believed in me since I had like 1 subscriber, and I believe in them. So yeah, it's cool, and yeah, I look forward to keep working with them. As always, China Cycling out.